What's up, guys? DrumQuig Podcast, episode 28. And if you couldn't tell by the banner or the t shirt, I've got another very special guest with us, an amazing person who's been referenced so many times on the show. We were like, why did it take so long to get you? But timing is everything. But the one and only John Spinelli. How you doing, man?
Great, Matt. Thank you. Thanks
Hey,
for having me.
hey, absolutely. Like getting right into it, you've got the Smelly drums, and of course, we've talked about on the podcast getting to come to the shop, just a few weeks ago. So, talk about what it's been like for you this year. You've had Todd Sickerman, Dave Weckl. Like, what's it like to have these clinics in the shop, and what's the atmosphere been like and the experience for you guys?
Man, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I'm a little older than you, so I'm sure you're familiar with thoroughbred music back in the day.
It's where I saw my first drum clinic.
Yes, yes. Well, and I grew up during that time, and AJ was
Oh,
amazing. All these clinics with thoroughbred and his pro drum shop, and I just loved it. And I eventually, after being on tour and traveling, I started working at a music store, Seminole Music and Sound, and was managing it, running the drum department, and I all the clinics, and we just started doing them there and getting all the great clinicians. And so now that's gone. Seminole Music still exists, but it's not the same place.
mm-mm.
I've been fortunate enough to host clinics at my drum shop. Since the music stores don't do it anymore, the drummers are really hungry to share. They want to share. The drummers, all us normal drummers, we love seeing all our favorites and superstars and learning from. And so it's just an honor that I've been able to host them at my shop. And
And
I've
I
had a
love
lot.
I love that because I didn't realize the connection to thoroughbred. So I saw Chad Smith when I was 10. And then when AJ started putting on him and Bill Mink, which Bill Mink gets brought up on the show so much,
Yeah, I've been at clinics at his place too in Britain.
and just, thinking about some of the people I got to see, Greg Bissonette being one of them, like Kira Jimbo, Peter Erskine, Marco Miniman, just the list goes on. And then going to Seminole Music and meeting Mike Portnoy and meeting Derek Roddy, like some
Yeah.
some incredible drummers that I, had the pleasure of getting to meet because of you, essentially in that sense. So that's it's pretty amazing.
Well, it's all the guys before me, and I was just happy to carry the torch for what time I can. It's amazing.
Absolutely. So, for anybody in the community, which I found everybody knows you, like there hasn't been a single person in the drumming community that I've talked to that doesn't know you. Like, talk about your start in drums, like playing, and then where was that transition from just player to maker?
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was a long time in between. Who knew where I'd be if I didn't get introduced to music? So you won't believe how we started. Growing up, a buddy of mine across the street, he was a couple of years older than me. He was a huge Kiss fan and, very influential. I thought it was cool. We loved it. He also was into Ozzy and the Police and everybody else, but Kiss was our band. And one day we were just sitting outside and hanging out like we do. And he said, I want to start a band. I want to play guitar and sing. What do you want to do? It was like, it was like a question, and he approved. And so that's what happened. That's where it all started. My dear friend, he did recently pass away. Well, it's been a few years, Bob Fournier, and he inspired a lot of people growing up in our area. But yeah, that's where it started. And from there, that band, we did a few parties, got into high school, started doing gigs, then started traveling. First doing local, doing a battle of bands, winning a battle of bands. That was really cool. Yes.
Yes.
You
Oh
know, and
man, Battle of the
Club,
Bands, that's a
yeah,
throwback.
yeah, Club 19. That was a huge place
Oh
back
my
in the,
God.
yeah, it was awesome. Mr. T's Club 19. And then, we started doing local gigs. Then we started going to Daytona, across the state, down south, playing all over, but then the southeast, and then, up the East Coast. And then before you know it, all over the country, different bands, not always the same.
Yeah.
But there was a core of musicians that, we traveled up into Canada and, we got close doing our thing all over the country. Had a great time doing it. Yeah.
And I
That's
mean, you did that for quite some time.
I did into my 30s. Yes, and then the band wanted to get off the road. Well, you know, Nirvana hit. We were pretty close to getting our deal, and Nirvana, and yeah, all the music thing. We were in a hair band, in case you didn't know.
You? Hair band? Never.
Yeah, yeah, but we had a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of things. I mean, I'm still playing today. I do, you know, I've played overseas. I still do fly out dates every now and then with this couple of corporate bands that are doing our thing. And yeah, so still doing it, and I record and I do all that.
And so you figured I do all this. I might as well make my own damn drums too.
Well, okay, so that started everybody who plays drums, you probably said, "Man, I wanna build drums," you know? It's like, "Oh, if I did it, I would do it like this." A lot of people do that, and I did have that dream over the times, but when I was running the music store, I was introduced to Gary, and he started messing with drums, and then he started bringing these stuff in, and then we started collaborating, and it eventually turned into this. I mean,
Just like
it's
that.
yeah, well, it wasn't just like that. It's been a long time. And all of a sudden, you know, we get these ideas, we'd put them together and they would work and it would work, you know, and it was like, wow, this works. And then people started asking about it and talking about it. And it's like, well, let's just try it. And, you know, was able to to obtain 4 patents on drumming stuff. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and, just about all the major drum companies have seen our stuff and have spoke highly of it, you know, so they know who we are.
Well, I already know the answer to this, but I kind of want you to talk about why why Spinelli drums? Like what makes your drums different from the big guys? Why are people going with your drums versus them?
Well, we are different. We are different than everybody else, and not just to be different. You know, as I've been doing this my entire life, playing drums. My relationship with drums is the longest relationship I had outside my immediate family. You know, since like eighth or ninth grade. You know, I've been playing drums, and working at the music store and getting to know all the different brands, you know, it's like, what if tried this? What if tried that? You know, and just try different things to make it easier, make it easier. So our drums are free floating, single tension. You just tune them from the top and bottom heads. They have the equal amount of tension. Different weights, different weight drum heads on the top or the bottom will determine on what head is tighter than the other. You know, most people put a thinner head on the bottom, and
Mhm.
so it tighter on the bottom. So you can get a pitch bend, and then not restricting the shell from vibrating. No matter what drum you have, probably, I don't know the exact amount, but 70 to 90% or more comes from the drum head because you could put a clear ambassador on a drum and then you could put a coated pinstripe or a hydraulic on it. It sounds like a completely different drum, you know?
Yeah,
So, you know, but with our free floating drum shell, it really gives you a nice full sound and easy to tune. I mean, I hope you had that experience when you checked them
yeah.
out.
That was probably one of the craziest things ever because I was trying to figure out at first why you had a snare where your tom should be. And then I realized that was your tom, and when you hit it, I just couldn't believe it. Like I literally could not believe the sound that was coming out of such a small drum. So then, I mean, you in the process, you detuned everything. You literally undid all the work you did, and within seconds had them sounding exactly how they did right before, all that process. So I was blown away by
Yeah.
getting to experience that. And especially whatever that drum was upstairs, that
The
thing,
taper drum?
oh
Yeah.
gosh. But you've put so much into this, and it's like it's building drums for drummers. It's not building drums to be different. It's not building drums because you understand it. You're building drums for drummers. And I know even the day we came, you were working on, you had just wrapped a band's drums. I don't know if we're allowed to say the band, so I wasn't sure.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, so you told me the Yellow Cards, drums for their upcoming tour, and I was like, the shop is small, but I don't think that it's a lot bigger because once you start showing us the extra rooms and the metal
Yeah,
shop and everything else.
yeah.
But it really shows that like your craft has stood the test of time. We look at Thoroughbred gone, the Sam Ashes are gone, and like you said, Seminoles. not to use the drum term, but it's a shell of what it used to be.
Yeah, yeah,
It
but
doesn't have the same feel.
no, no, it's serving a purpose though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
getting the young kids, they're teaching lessons there. They giving a lot of lessons and they're renting band instruments and he's got what it takes to get started,
Yeah.
for someone who's not informed, and he carries quality stuff. So Mike May is doing a good job over there. It's still around and there's like nobody else.
Well,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say, do you think that this is a chance, like, there's gonna be a time where the physical music stores make a comeback? Like, do you think it's possible in today's world versus 20, 30 years ago?
well, if you're writing fiction, that could be true, like Star Wars. It goes from one extreme to the other. We're hoping. I mean, people need to talk to each other and learn face to face and somebody learn from somebody with experience, like lessons. Yes, lessons online are good. Zoom and like we're talking right now, and all this stuff over the internet is really good. But person to person it's there's a lot to that, as we know.
I was gonna say there's so much more to that, and, I think even it's so funny, we had a couple episodes ago when Mike, Gary, and I were on the show. It was before we knew about the Dave Weckl pop-up, and we had talked about Dave Weckl, and he showed us a picture of, like, an old picture of him and Dave, and it was so funny that we ended up doing that. But what I saw that night when everybody was there was that in-person kind of, like, that was the old music store experience. Like, that was the people of all ages, but you could tell every person in that room what they were. I'm like, drummer, 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 drummer. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were there for that, and I feel like that even that moment of something as small as a pop-up and him playing impacted so many people, but it gave us that feel back. It gave us that music store kind of, like, jitters in the best way possible.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if you know this, but like Paul Quinn from Sessions Panel was there that night. Joe Testa, VP of Zildjian, was there that night. Dave Weckl brought the whole community out.
And I
It,
feel like that's what we're talking about, drummers
yeah.
bringing that community.
And that was an unadvertised event because didn't know how Dave would react to, seeing Dave Weckel's going to be there.
Yeah,
He was going to be there. I mean, I went and he ran through songs before that day that they were going to play that night because he is just he wants it right.
he
He's
meticulous in the
he
best way
is
possible.
game on. He is Dave Weckel, for goodness sakes. You know? So, but anyway, it was his first time in town, like at an event like this, and he loved it here. He felt very welcome. Guys like you, he's going to come back. He's going to come back and going to do more master class, and we'll probably do another jam night just like that. You had half of Al Di Meola's band came out to play with him.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
uh, all those guys and Jay Oliver, his longtime keyboard player, who
Mhm.
also did Jimmy Buffett and worked with Glenn Fry and the Eagles. Um, they were all there. It was an amazing night to just go and watch that amount of talent.
And I mean, honestly, every band that played that night was spectacular, yourself included. Give yourself a little bit of credit there.
Well, thank you.
You're like, "Yeah, well, I'm not Dave Weckl." That's what everybody said because you saw everybody afterwards go, "I gotta follow Dave Weckl? Come on, man."
Yeah. Well, you know what? Just be who you are.
Yeah,
Just be who you are. If you want to be a Dave Weckl, you got to put the time in.
yeah.
And that's just what it takes.
Well,
I'm okay where I'm at.
no, again, spectacular playing. And, we talk about the master class. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it was such an intimate setting that you created for those. And by intimate, I mean you had to push everything to the side to make as much room as possible.
Yeah, yeah,
I couldn't believe it was the same room I was standing in when I was there. I was like, there's no way this is where it happened.
yeah.
So, talking like in the future, would you want to do bigger ones or do you like keeping it that smaller, intimate kind of setting?
I'm all for whatever we can do and whatever has to do, you know? It actually, both Todd and Dave wanted limited amount of people. They wanna work with you. Dave was like, you know, he talked about coming so we already talked about coming back next year, and he goes, "I wanna do a smaller class, and I wanna do a full 4 hours so I can work with everybody." And it's like, "Well, you know, we could spread it over 2 nights." And he's like, "Yes, let's do that." Class, and you know, we did he did like 3.5 hours, you know, and he felt
Jeez.
it wasn't enough, and he didn't really get to work with everybody, you know. So his mind and how he works his classes, he would prefer about 12 people so we can actually work with everybody in 4 hours and they get time. So it might be a little different next time. And Todd Sugarman, he only wanted 25 max. You know, the first one we went over because there was a cancellation on the other side of the state, and we sold out so quick for him. He extended it 5, and then there was a cancellation, and so he took in a couple of more only because they asked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. But yeah, Todd doesn't want him big either, so they want him intimate, and that's really good for us.
Well, and I think the best part about that is the full distinction between a drum clinic and a master class. A drum
Yes.
clinic, you're packing people in there. They're not really getting that one-on-one time, but I love hearing, Dave, of course, and then of course Todd, like two absolutely incredible drummers who want to sit and spend time with people and not just turn and burn. And I gotta respect them both for that. So hopefully it's more than 12, but
12 a day. He'll do a couple of days. Do
yeah,
a
and I'm
couple of
starting to see a lot of people do those. And Todd, of course, especially does those 2 nights. And
he
now
does
it
2.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Todd has 2 separate classes, though.
yeah.
They're yeah, you know, and it's like, which one was better? The last one? The which one did you see? Then that one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
It's like
one was it? Yeah, I was there. That one.
yeah, yeah. When I was running the store, and they would say, "What clinic was your favorite?" And I have to say the last one because that's what inspires you. You know, they're all every player is amazing. You know, and you may have your favorite, but when you go to clinics and you meet these people, you talk to them, they all inspire you because they're willing. They want to share. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. They want to share and they want to show you something. They want to learn too. So they're all great. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's funny when you think about, like, those clinics because I have those distinct moments where I don't think I have a favorite, but I also remember, like, Greg Bissonette gave me a Mapex bucket hat that I then wore the next night to the Peter Erskine, and Peter got mad that I was wearing the Mapex one and gave me threw a black hat at me and was like, "Take that off, put this on." And we
Yeah.
have that running joke that Peter wasn't the nicest guy. I've since let that go, but
Oh,
I will
okay.
always remember that one.
Yeah.
Marco being very, very stern the whole time he was playing, and then he would just break into, like, smiling and crazy stuff, and then, of course, Derek Roddy, just being I think that was the first time I had seen blast beats in person, like that up and close, and I just remember being like, "Holy crap, this is
Yeah.
insane."
Yeah. Yeah. I just recently spoke to Derek because, we're doing the Florida Drum Fest, what we'll talk about. And he's like, if you need me to do a clinic, let me know. We can work things out, you know. But
So
so
I think you need him to do a clinic. You
I
absolutely
don't, I don't think this year's going to work, but you never know. We're getting close now. So it's getting close on the logistics. So,
I
but
love that you gave me my segue before I even needed to create one. But yeah, Florida Drum Fest 2026, September 20th in Eustis, 11 to 5, if I remember
yeah,
correctly. Like,
correct.
obviously, I'm a part of it, so I'm super excited, but I want to know like how it came about. You see Drum Fest all over the country, and I felt like there was just a little bit of like, we're missing something here. And I feel like that's exactly how you felt about it.
Yeah. Again, another one of my dreams is we need to have a drum show. We need to have a drum show. And of course, I talked with AJ from Thoroughbred, and he's like, yeah, we got to do this. We got to do that. But Arthur Stone's from Sinten Cymbal, it's a Chinese brand cymbal, B20 bronze, and they make other ones as well. It's a nice, simple brand. They're very affordable. They sound great.
Those
He
those are the ones that were in your shop, like right in front of
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah, he did an event at my shop, and he couldn't believe the turnout. We did 2 days, and he was like, "Wow." Tampa really is hungry for drum events, no matter what.
Yep.
We had hot dogs, and he sold a bunch of cymbals. And over 2 days, and it was a good time. It was a good time, and he goes to all the drum shows, and he noticed that there isn't anything in the southeast of the US, and so he put a little work in, and he started working on it, and then he needed a Florida partner to pull it off, and so we got together, and yeah, you know, I'm all about it. So yes, yeah.
Well, and I mean, I've seen the list. If I could read it off, I mean, there's so many people that are going to be here. It's going to be super exciting. I mean, last I checked, basically the tables were just about sold out for everything. So, I
We're
mean,
getting
everybody is jumping on this.
Yeah, we're getting very close. We still have some of the bigger guys that are in contention. It's in September. We just started this. We were only able to announce it about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, it's not planned for the year. They've got their budget already planned, but well, we should get it. It should be even bigger next year. But yeah, we got Gretsch drums, D drum. I'm talking with Zildjian, and it's pretty much sure that they plan on being there. And so I was thinking about it, and it's like, okay, so the first year, if we don't have all the big names, oh yeah, we got William Ludwig III. He's going to be there with his drums, WFL3. They'll be there. Yeah, yeah. So if we don't get all the big names this year, that's not such a bad thing because
Mm-mm.
because we know what they have, and it is great, and it is a draw to go see. Hey, I'm gonna go talk to the Zildjian rep, or you know the Tama rep, or something like that. But we are got a lot of independent guys, a lot of brands that you don't see every day. Homer Drum from up north, a lot of guys like that are coming. Lucky Drums, so a lot of the independent guys that give you another choice, just to see what's out there, something different.
A saw blade head like that I saw, and I was actually really excited about that because I always wanted to see their stuff in person.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
looking at this list, there's so many. And then, you know, Drums and Rums podcast. So there's gonna be another podcast. I'm actually really excited about that. I'm just kind of getting to see, showing everybody that there is an outlet for them. And, I always notice you look at concert pictures and the drummer's getting the least amount of the love 90% of the time. And I'm like, why? Why? He's the backbone. Like, you need him for this. So to bring all these people together,
yeah.
and the first year is always the feeling out process. It's to see the logistics, to see what works, what doesn't. But I imagine after the first one, it's going to be a 2-day event. There's no question.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, and we're hoping to expand, and we'll see. I got a lot of plans. I'm always dreaming, so
I
we'll
was
see
going
if
to
we
say, I know you got a wish list for who you want to be there, but I won't make you talk about it on the show. Like
well, Modern Drummer will be there this year, so
it's
that's gonna be
huge.
yeah, yeah, Modern Drummer will be there. There's a few other that aren't quite confirmed, but it's 90%, so we'll wait
We'll
to make
we'll
sure.
hold off on them. We're gonna do another show with you before it happens. So that's
Yeah,
and then we'll have
yeah.
to snag you at the actual drum fest if I can
Well,
pull you
of
away from
course.
everybody.
Yeah. It's gonna be great, man. I'm really psyched.
Yeah. And I've put all the information in the prior podcast and all the descriptions. So anybody watching, it'll be in there where you can go and buy tickets. Super inexpensive.
Yeah,
So get
yeah.
there's not another place that you're gonna be able to see all these vendors and people in the same room for under $20. Because I'm pretty sure it's under 20 at this point.
It's $11, with service charge is general admission. And if you want to get the VIP, go in an hour early when everybody's setting up and go bother people while they're doing that. It's an extra $5, So it's like, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited about it. I'm working on a big showstopper kit to be seen.
Was that the one that was in the
It was
room that we're not allowed to talk about?
no, no, it was just shells.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I'm saying, the
yeah,
shells,
yeah.
yeah.
Just shell. It was yeah, yeah.
You got a
Just
lot of
shell.
work
Yeah,
so
I got a lot of work to do.
On average, how long does it take you to go from shell to completed?
Depending on the finish and how complex it is, it's about 3 months. Could be longer, the
That's
bigger
still
the kit,
crazy though.
or it could be less. And it's a small shop, I can't make the parts quick enough, so, if anybody needs looking for an investor, I'm looking for an investor.
It's just you
And they
doing everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I get help. I get help. My brother helps out. I got friends that come and help out. Yeah. But it's a one-man show pretty much. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And it's
Yeah.
it's so funny going into the shop and just you're in awe kind of just looking around the room, talking about, all the drums that were in there and the various stages of completion and everything else. And just knowing it's mostly you, the one man show, doing all of that, it still just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I
it's
I
like the
do have
sound of that tom all over again.
yeah, I do have a painter,
Okay.
I can't paint here at my shop. You need a booth for that.
Yeah.
But I do have a guy who does all of the painting and does our epoxy finishes.
That's
That we
awesome.
we could do that. Those crazy finishes are epoxy.
Yeah.
Since we don't drill into the shell, we can do some crazy finishes.
Yeah. And even we didn't even touch base on the fact that, the hardware system you've got that was mind blowing
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
because you had asked me if I had seen it before. And I was like, yeah, it's a tom rack. Like, and you took the drum off and I just went, what?
Yeah. That's our patented guide and slide mounting system.
I mean, it helps you set up the set a
Yeah,
fraction of the time.
correct. You use a drum key the first time you set up, and then you're good to go. You're good to go. And the
Absolutely amazing.
floor tom's the same.
Yeah. Yeah, everything about it was great, and I think that the next episode, we're definitely gonna have to see those in action. I'm not gonna make you get up because I know how far it is
Yeah,
from there
yeah,
to that drum.
yeah, yeah. We'll prepare for that next time. Sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, in this moment, like, you've got such a storied career where you're still playing to this day, and you've influenced so many people, and one of them, I'm just gonna bring up Jordan because it's Jordan. Was actually on the show, but I remember meeting Jordan and he's like, "You need to meet John Spinelli." He's like, "You need to go talk to him." He's like the one and only, the rock star. He has so many nicknames for you. So talk about what it's like to have people kind of be influenced and look up to you, in this next generation of drummers, because if anyone who hasn't heard Jordan play, I'll put a link to some of his newest stuff because it is whoo. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, Jordan, man, he was just a kid. He started taking drum lessons from me. And you remember the drumometer back in the day where it measured your speed?
Yeah,
How many beats per minute or, second you do. And I got him on that and he just went to town. He was nonstop. He loved that. And yeah, he is a speed metal drummer and he can groove too. And
absolutely.
what a guy, what a nice guy, a wonderful father. Man, I'm privileged to have him in my life, because he was such a young kid that just wanted the drums and loved drums and had an electronic kit and just destroyed it. He just destroyed it. And then, yeah, 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 what an amazing player. And I'm so glad that he is back doing some touring again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully in September in Florida, Jordan.
He's coming down in a month or so for a little vacation with
Oh,
his
yeah,
boy.
we're gonna get him while he's down here.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
The funniest part is how I met Jordan, and I've talked about it, but I was working in Largo and went to the Starbucks, and I looked behind the counter, and I just saw the guy, and I was like, "Drummer." And that is literally how I met Jordan, and we became friends. Like, and at the time, he was in not Serpent's Rise, that was Roddy's band. Now I'm gonna blank on it. Oh man, now I'm gonna forget. Anyways, it was metal that I had never heard before, and I was like, "This is you?" But anyway, how
Actually,
cool.
Jordan did his very first clinic with Derek Roddy. Derek Roddy gave him a spot that he got to play a song or so. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
Actually, two of my students, Jordan and Scott Spaziano, Derek let them both have a little spot. They were both metal drummers and, just incredible, and Derek is a kind soul, and he's a wonderful person. But I always encouraged my students to take lessons with other people, not just me.
Interesting.
Yeah, because there's only so much I can do and I can show, and even though if it is a wealth of knowledge, somebody's got another look, another twist, another thing,
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
matter how great of a drummer you are, there's different views, and you can learn something from everybody. And they got them in the network of these people,
Yeah.
because then they took, say, Jordan took a lesson with Vinny Appice. Then he goes to NAMM show and Vinny Appice's there, and Vinny's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And it's like, "Oh, you know him?" And it creates a network. And if Vinny's talking to somebody or somebody comes up, he'll introduce them. And Dom Famularo was amazing like
Mm,
that with with my students. For the few that were fortunate enough to make it to NAM, Dom would just be so kind to them, and share everything with them, no matter who he was with. He would include them in on it, and it's really good. And when Todd was here, Todd Sugarman, Lola from the UK was in town, and Dave Stark is her instructor, and they do it over Zoom lessons. And it was so good to see Dave, Todd, and two of his students sitting in the back discussing with Todd and talking and sharing. And it was like, man, I just warmed my heart to see these young kids. They're going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
absolutely. And
We do from here.
I think you brought up a good point though. The letting them get taught by somebody else. You're going to learn something different from each person. And I think that takes a lot to be a drum teacher who's kind of molding these people, whichever way it starts, whether they're somewhat experienced or, getting them as a kid like Jordan, like, and to see them knowing that the best thing for them is to branch out and expand and learn from other people, they'll always
Yeah.
come back to you.
Well, I mean, it's yeah, we're family. You develop relationships, and it's not like you're not going to want to play with me, or oh, that guy's better than me, so you're not going to want to learn from me anymore. You just can't be like that. It's not that. It's just people are different. People
Yeah.
are different. Stuart Copeland might not fit in Rush. There's a chance.
I also love that this episode's coming out the same week I'm going to see Stuart Copeland. So
Yeah, you think.
you're like, yeah, you are. I heard that fish shake over there, but John, I'll save this last part for you to just kind of, talk about anything else. Obviously, we touched on Drumfest and smelling drums and everything else, but if there's anything you want to put out there or anything you got going on, like now's the time to let everyone know.
Well, just follow me on social media, Spinelli Drums, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and find out, especially if you're local, find out what's going on. So many people, oh, I didn't know Weckl was coming. And it's like, well, you got to come around. You got to be connected. You got to be in the group to participate with the group.
Yeah,
We're not
especially knowing it's going to be,
not hiding from anybody. We're not hiding.
yeah.
It's just, you wouldn't have known if we wouldn't have connected before this, right?
I mean, I saw it in the circles. Like it was just coming up, but it was one of those things where it's like getting the message from you that was like, "Hey, you should go down there tonight." And I was like I should or I need to, and you were like, "Need to," and I was like, "Okay."
You know? Yeah, it
And
was.
I know Mike and I had a blast,
Oh, yeah. It was so good to
and
see.
that was the first time we'd ever just hung out. Like we'd always see each other at shows and say hello and talk for a little bit, but that was like the first time we hung out. So it was kind of cool to like again, we're back to that networking where
Yeah,
like other people were recognizing him and he was pointing people out, and I was like, I love this. Like this is what drum clinics again, it's that whole drum clinic thing. That's what everything felt like all over again. So
yeah, yeah. And then when Weckl, he stayed in town till Saturday. He left on Sunday morning, and it was like I knew he was coming out to my gig on Saturday, and I didn't want it to get crazy. I didn't want it, so I didn't really tell anybody. But if people showed up, I will. Dave Weckl is here. Go
yeah,
back, go say hi, and
yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. But he's really comfortable here, so I think next time we might let the word out a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the coolest parts because I got to sit there and talk to him, and he was so friendly and kind. And I told him it had been over 20 years since I've seen him in that Holiday Inn ballroom over near the stadium.
Thanks.
I mean, what a memory for me to have, and remember the whole room yelling when some guy asked what the name of his band was. And the whole room yelled the Dave Welcome Band. He goes, "Man, I don't remember that." I go, "I can't forget it, man." I said, "That was one of the craziest things." The whole room shouted at this guy, like, "Get out, like, get out." Like, that's enough. But that's well, to go through my spiel, we've already talked about Drumfest. You guys know the link is in the bio. You guys got to come out, come harass me, come say hi. I'll have stickers. I might have more. Who knows? That's another thing. Like, you've kind of pushed me to,
Yeah,
get into that merch kind of
yeah,
aspect
yeah,
of it. So,
yeah. Just bumper stickers. Everybody loves that.
yeah.
Whatever.
And then, of
Yeah,
course, jerseys for drummers make this one. There's a good chance there will be a new one debuting at Florida Drum Fest. So we're gonna stay tuned for that one. Stay tuned is the perfect segue for that. I've been talking about it on here. Stay Tuned Records over in Tarpon. A few weeks ago, the tenant above them flooded, destroyed thousands of dollars in vinyl, and they're back open. And I just want to thank anybody who bought anything from them, whether it was a sticker, a vinyl, like whatever it was, anything you did to help out, we really did appreciate. And I say we because I love those guys. It's amazing to see, you know, people my age. I say people my age, but I think I'm actually older than them too, but to see a younger generation in the vinyl space just feels like a resurgence that we need. And the next thing would be music stores. So hopefully that's where we get, those back, because when those closed, it hurt. And I know down in South Florida, there's MAE. Those guys I got to meet at the Dream Theater concert back in September. Got to meet the whole family run store. And it's pretty close to where Roddy was, if I wasn't mistaken. But all I know is, for all these people and everybody else who supports us in any way, shape, or form, like, this is the community we're in, the drumming community. And John, everything you're doing is just bringing us all together even more in a time where it is so easy to be separate and, oh, I'm not doing that. Or putting all these people in this room is a huge deal. It's a huge undertaking. And I thank you for even putting that effort into it. But you saw something missing,
yeah, yeah. Well, and going back to that, the Florida Drum Fest, carpool. Get a couple of drummers. Make it a day to hang out with your drumming buddies. It might be an hour or two for you to travel, or if you're traveling from Tallahassee, get some people together and go together and make it a big hang. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. You never know who you're gonna meet. You
right?
don't know who's gonna be there.
You
And
might see somebody from the show, because there was some interest from one of our recent guests about it, because he doesn't live too far from Eustis.
fantastic.
So that was pretty exciting. And if I have to go to his show in Bradenton, then he can come down to Drum Fest.
I saw that. I saw that. Can't.
Yeah. So anybody who wants, know exactly who I'm talking about. So that's on you, sir. But on behalf of myself, Dad, John, thank you so much for coming on. This was an absolute pleasure. And again, this will not be the last
Thank
time we
you.
have you on the show for sure.
Oh, thank you, and say hi to your dad for me.
Well, take
All
it
right.
easy.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Hey guys, wanted to take a quick second to let you know that the DrumQuig podcast will be at Florida Drum Fest, Sunday, September 2026. It's from 11 to 5 p.m. at the Lake Canyon Fairgrounds. Vendors, podcast, all kinds of stuff drums. So coming out and support it. And meet yours truly. Thanks so much. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig podcast. Thank you so much.